It's Jeannie here, and today I am so glad to be joined by one half of one of my favorite duos in music, period. Grammy Award-winning artist for King and Country. They have a new holiday album, A Drummer Boy Christmas. Oh, thank you so much for joining me, Luke.
No worries. Who paid you to say one of your favorite artists? Because I think I need to give you a free album or something for that endorsement.
No, it's the truth. It's a true
You're
story. You
sweet.
guys, you
Thank you.
guys put your all into what you do, and it's just it's so good. It's felt. It's genuine. It's unique, and you really are one of my favorites. So
Well,
always
I
happy to
appreciate you
chat
saying that.
with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time.
So
Yeah.
we're coming out of. You guys have officially been back on the road, but you
Yeah.
had quite a couple. A time where you guys kind of had to shut down like the rest of the world. How was that season for you, just kind of being home and quarantined?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it was a pretty special time. My wife and I, we've been married 10 years, and I think this is the longest amount of time that I've been home for our entire marriage. And so it was just
Wow.
kind of a nice. I joked at the end of last year how wonderful it would be to have a 6 month break. Like
Oh, so this was
unreal.
your fault.
It was my fault. As unrealistic as that is, I got to the end of the last year, I was exhausted, and so in a roundabout way, we got to have family time. We got to be able to make some memories and dream up some dreams. We got cows while we were in quarantine,
How
which
cool.
which was a dream of kind of the families. And so we were like, hey, you know what? We're home. We can look after these cows. Now's the time to get cows. And so that's what we did. And also at the same time, we made a Christmas album during those days as well. So honestly, it's been an amazing year under very extreme and weird circumstances.
Very, yeah, but it does sound like you guys had some much needed together time. I love that. Talk about the timing, I guess. So you guys created the album during this, the lockdown and everything that we went through here in the States. So what was this something that you already anticipated doing for this season, or did this whole thing kind of push you to saying, hey, this is a message we need right now?
Well, we had planned on doing a Christmas album. I do think that when it had come to, King and Country's done, a bunch of Christmas music, but we've actually never done a recorded Christmas album. We've done EPs, we've done live recordings, but we've never actually done a live Christmas album. And so we did plan, last year, hey, we really need to make a Christmas album. And so we found ourselves in this very unique situation. And there were times where there was ideas of maybe we pause, maybe we wait, and we just thought, look, I think that the world needs a lot of joy right now. I think they need a lot of hope, and people are going to be expecting, I think, a lot of Christmas, maybe more so than ever. And I think if you're anything like us, a soundtrack to go along with that joy, a soundtrack to go along with that hope is something that we all desire. And so we went into the studio and made this album that what I think is an album that we're really proud of. I mean, it's cool in Christmas music to sing some of the greatest songs ever written, and we all kind of know the words to them, and
Mhm,
so then we get to go and make them a little bit more King and Country like,
mhm.
and get to dream up some ideas and sounds and different things. So we're thrilled.
Yeah, and the world needs Christmas. Like I can't wait for the Christmas season to come already.
Yeah,
in my heart, I just want the Christmas season to heal, like everything that
yeah,
happened this year.
yeah,
And obviously because of the Christmas message, we have the greatest miracle. It was
yep.
Jesus, and that's what I'm hoping for. What's your hope though for this season that's coming up, and just God would have you guys release music during this time.
Yeah. Well, look, I think there's nothing like a pandemic to get people's attention, and I hope that it's been, I think, a very eye-opening thing for a lot of people in that, you go and you can store up treasures on Earth, and then you have a pandemic hit, and all of a sudden those treasures don't mean a whole lot. Those things that you rely on, that job or that income, for a lot of us in my world, I mean, our whole world was shut down, and everything that was planned on in 2020 was basically put on hold. And then the things that we ended up doing, we had to completely redo, because we're not, doing normal shows. We're doing in-person drive-in shows, And so I
Yeah.
think it's made me realize, and made me force me to ask the question of, where is my hope really found? Who am I actually putting my trust in?
Mm.
And then the other thing I realized during this pandemic is, I joked to my family. I was like, "Hey, I mean, this is not even a joke. Seriously, like this is the moment that you practice faith. We talk about these things. We talk about from stage these things. We write songs about these things. And for Courtney, my wife, and kids, we talk and discuss these things. Now is actually the moment to act on that faith and
Mm.
trust that God's going to look after the people, His people. And at the same time, I think when it comes to our hope for this year, that people will turn to something that is much more everlasting than the things that we can see. And I hope that this music, it plays a role on it, and maybe stirs people. My hope is always that music will stir people's souls,
Yeah.
and it will stir their souls in a way that will maybe force them to ask some questions about where they find themselves, and maybe in other cases it forces them to encourage themselves and that realize that they're not alone in this world, and that there's still a lot to be thankful for, and there's still a lot of joy to be had.
Yeah, and your music always has done that, and I'm looking forward to them having the access to this new music, which I did get privy listening
Oh, you did? I
privileges
was going to
to.
ask you. Yeah, what did you
Yeah,
think?
I love it. I love it. It's so good. It's so for King and Country, which I was very happy about because
Oh,
it's
good.
definitely you guys meets Christmas, which is for me like gold.
Oh, that's
But
sweet.
you penned some original songs, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
talk about doing that, like penning original songs for one of the, most celebrated, holidays in our
Yeah.
Christian history.
I will say it's a little bit daunting, because I mean, you're singing Christmas classics, right? And so your original songs are up against Christmas classics, which, these songs haven't just been tried for 10 years. A lot of these songs have been tried for, hundreds of years,
Yeah.
and people have recognized these as the great songs. And so, yeah, when you're asked to write an original, you're kind of like, yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to write like the next Silent Night, but you don't know. And so I think what it forces you to do is, obviously, the nice thing is you at least know what your content's going to be about. It's going to
Yeah.
be about Christmas to a degree, and whatever that looks like to you. It's going to be about the birth of Jesus. So, you can, sometimes the problems in other music is you can just go anywhere, and so it's kind of
True.
nice to have kind of a little bit of a dialed in narrative. But there's two songs on there. There's the Carol of Joseph, and there's a
Love.
song called Heavenly Hosts, and both of which I'm really really proud of. Heavenly Hosts, ironically enough, was a song that I wrote while I was working in the garden up on a little hill, and a friend of mine started sending me some piano tracks, and I just started I heard this chorus, and so we
Wow.
we sung that down. I often wondered what it would be like to be, the shepherds on that hilltop, experiencing, these angels visiting them, basically saying, "Hey, something really special is happening, and I've come to you first." So that was a really special song. It took a while to kind of get complete. And then the Carol of Joseph, the idea there was Mary gets a lot of attention during Christmas, but Joseph is probably put in the most unique situation. He's this child's earthly father, but he's not really. He's kind of the stepfather, and but yet he's kind of been put in charge to look after Jesus and Mary. And so we just thought, he had this vision. Obviously, he knew that Jesus was going to be something special, but did he feel like he actually had the goods to actually do what he was being kind of asked to do? And so that song kind of explores the humanity of just being a father, and you're trying to be a father to the God of the universe. So it was a kind of a really cool song. I think it's one of the coolest vocals. It's just who knows if it's the biggest song or not, but it
It's
feels special
brilliant.
to me. It
It's
feels special to
brilliant.
me,
Yeah.
and we're really proud of it.
It's brilliant. I was listening to it and just thinking like, wow, like why hasn't anyone done something like written from this perspective before? But I feel like who better to do it, than you guys. I mean, you're a dad. You're about to be a dad again.
I am, yeah. January. We're getting our little like post Christmas gift is in
Oh,
January. Yeah,
amazing. So it was so touching. It was very moving. I love it. I can't
I
wait
love
for
that.
the world to hear it, and it'll probably be the new Mary Did You Know, right? For the men.
Oh yeah, okay. Hey,
Come
I
on,
appreciate it,
Jesus.
man. If you have the gift of prophecy, I'll take it.
Yes, receive it. So you have features on the album too. How did that kind of come about? Need
Yeah,
to Breathe and Gabby Beret. How did
yeah,
those things?
yeah. The features are kind of also well, always has happened in unique ways. We were doing a Come Come Emmanuel, and we thought it could use. I always want to start with the necessity of a feature versus, hey, I got this cool song. Well, what about so and so just comes on it? I think at that point you just negate a little bit of the need for a feature. And so when it comes to a bear, him singing on "Come O Come Emmanuel,"
So
I mean, I
good.
don't know about you, but that vocal is insane. I mean, it's just
Nuts.
crazy. And the song needed it. You know what I mean? It kind of has this lift. And I just thought, I said to him, I was like, bro, I've been singing my whole life, but I can't sing any what close to you. I mean, you've got like the superpower. And then when it came to Gabby Barrett, she's doing really, really well right now, and kind of our world. So we know the Need to Breathe guys. We don't know Gabby. I've never met Gabby actually,
Oh,
and because of the pandemic, we weren't doing vocals with each other or anything like that. So we had this idea, and her name was passed around, and we had this idea of what would it look like if she was to come and sing on a song. Well, once again, we had this version of "Go Tell It on the Mountain," which that song, if not handled correctly, it kind of can be annoying. You know what I mean? And so we were like, we need something to like spice this up a little bit, and make
mm,
it kind of cool. And so she's an incredible singer.
yeah.
And so to be able to have her on that, it just kind of took the song to new heights.
Yeah, and a whole and she'll bring all her audience
Yeah.
to you guys too, which is so great. All right, well, I don't want to keep you much longer. I know you're on the road, which is so cool, but I do want to ask, what message do you think people need most this Christmas?
Yeah. Well, man, I think that they say that people can last 30 days without food, and 3 or 4 days without water, but not a day without hope.
Mm,
And I think that that's what we're up against in this world. It's a very unique time in that it's not just America going through what we've gone through in 2020. It's literally the entire world. And so we're all at this similar place of feeling hopeless, where we feel empty, and I know what can fill that emptiness. And my hope is that the birth of Jesus will be something that is celebrated with a different vigor this year,
mm,
because I don't know about you, but when I'm focusing on myself and kind of the things that I'm walking through, it doesn't usually lead to a lot of joy. But when I get to
amen.
focus on others, and I get to focus on who Jesus really is, there's this element of, man, I could, at this point, in the truest nature of worship, I could do anything, you
Mm,
know? And I think that we need to kind of have a little bit of that, because we've gone through things that, my parents never gone through something like this, in their lifetime. And so these are unparalleled times, and there's a lot of hurting people out there. But I hope that, in our recognition of Jesus this Christmas, that there will be this, I can go through this. I can do anything because I
mm,
know who's by my side, and I know that though there may be days of hopelessness, that I'm not hopeless.
Mm.
And that would be my hope for Christmas 2020.